Archery vlog. I really should clean out my shed. So, it's been a wonderful time shooting with my lovely brand new Matthews Vertix. For the first couple of weeks, I shot it, wore the strings in nicely, everything sort of settled in, got a bit of peep rotation, and ended up wearing out the D-loop. And also the cable-driven arrow rest slid up a little bit and gave me a few little weird dramas, but nothing too big, nothing too difficult to handle. But after all of that came about, I went and visited Mr. Cash at Sue Archery and got him to fix all of those little niggling things for me. New D-loop, new peep, got rid of the old tube peep, put a proper aluminium peep in there, and he tied that all in for me real nice. Got some new modules. 75-pound modules, haven't put them in yet. Looking forward to trying them, getting a bit of extra power and speed out of the old girl. However, while I was driving around in my truck, I was listening to the Knock On podcast. Mr. Dudley mentioned that he doesn't use a lanyard on his thumb release. So I thought, why am I using a lanyard on my thumb release? Let's take that off and be one of the cool kids and just hang it off the back of my bow, off my D-loop, and just wander around like that. Seemed like a great idea at the time. The dude was like, I don't understand why people use lanyards. And I was like, neither do I. Lanyards are stupid. Lo and behold, the very next day, it was a weekend and I was shooting a lot. I'd fired probably, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 100 and 120 arrows that day. Just having fun, just shooting at my recycled plastic bales. And as I was halfway through drawing back, my grip failed. I had the rest in on my knuckle instead of on the fat part of my finger. And as I pulled back, my fingers opened and I let go of the rest, and it went flying into the bow, and it hit my arrow rest and smashed it to pieces. It hit the cable guard, the cable roller badoob that holds the cable out the way, and blew the front of that off, and also smashed up the thumb release itself, the little Trueball Max Pro 4, not designed to be punched into a wall with 70 pounds of power behind it. So that was an expensive day, and I rang up the people I bought the bow from because I didn't really understand what happened. And I told them about it, and they were gracious enough to see if they could cover some stuff under warranty, get me some parts, even though it's probably not really a warranty job. They were very good. They've been helping me for a while now, and they got me a new rest for free. Trophy Taker was very generous. They decided that they would just send me another one just because they're awesome. So 10 points to Trophy Taker. True Ball didn't want to fix the release, obviously, because it was my fault. So I had to mail my release all the way over to the United States in America, and they fixed it for about 30 US bucks and then sent it back. So back a couple of weeks, and probably like 70 bucks Australian to get it all fixed up and postage in and out. So that wasn't too bad. When it came back, however, it was set so light that it wouldn't hang on to a 70-pound bow all the way back. The jaws just opened up halfway through, and I ended up punching myself in the throat. So whoever it was from True Ball that set my release to like 1/8 of an ounce trigger pull weight, yes, I'm going to punch you in the neck one day. You watch out. The roller guard here is where we get to the crux of the matter. This all happened about 7, maybe 8 weeks ago, and I have been trying to order Matthews Vertix roller guard from Matthews through the dealer. I'm not trying to like circumvent the dealer network or anything, but it's taken 7 weeks just to get them to order it. So that's a problem. That's really annoying. Not the fault of the shop, obviously, because I've been nagging the shop the whole time. But yeah, whoever the supplier for Matthews parts in Australia is excessively slow with parts on a new bow. So if you are thinking about buying a Matthews bow in Australia, so I'm sure it's probably fantastic over in the States, or Canada, or wherever else it is that you're bow hunting over on the American continent. But all the way over here, it has literally taken 7 weeks just to get them to order it. And I don't even know how much it's going to cost, and I don't know when it's going to get here. It's probably going to be at least another month by the sound of things. So thumbs down, big fat thumbs down for that. So knowing that, and I'm still a Matthews fan. Like, the bow is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with the bow, but it's just a real problem if you're prone to breaking things like I am. So pretty much everything I buy ends up breaking at some point and needs to be fixed, and I don't mind that. I don't mind products failing and having to fix them. That seems to be just part of doing business. It's just a real pain when it takes 2 months or 3 months or whatever to get your brand new $1,500 bow back up and running. So that's a real pain. So what I ended up doing was buying a second bow. I bought a cheap bow as a backup bow, and I've really been enjoying it. It's been a great little rig. I bought the Bear Approach hybrid cam, the 2018 model, because it is, well, mostly because of the price. In Australia at the moment you can get one of them for just a shade under $600, like $5.99 on some websites. I bought it from the same shop that I bought my Matthews from, and I think it was like $630 shipped. So it rolled into my door as a nice big cardboard box, and I ordered a peep sight with it. I didn't get a tube peep this time. I just got the alloy peep straight out of the box because on that visit where I went up to Sioux Archery, I managed to get myself into a little Bowmaster bow press, so I can do all the work myself instead of having to go up and visit people and pay somebody else to do the work for me. So now I can put my own peeps in. I can twist the string, I can tune the bow, I can do everything I need to do just with that little Bowmaster press. Got the limb tip attachments, so it's pressing in the right spot. It's all working. It's not going to snap my limbs or anything like that. It's all super duper wicked, very easy to use. And yeah, so I tied in my peep, I set my arrow rest, I've served it into the bus cable. I'm not 100% sure if that's the right cable to serve it into, but it's not moving now, so that's good. Seems to be a little bit knock high, but I don't know, it shoots great, and I haven't shot it through paper yet or anything like that, but yeah, very happy with it. It's one of those bows that it's cheap, but the features that they cheaped out on are the features that you kind of want to cheap out on pretty much, like all the way. So it's a cast riser. It looks like the cams might be cast and then sort of machined out, cleaned up afterwards, I guess. The limb pockets are cast aluminium, they're not plastic, so that's nice. And it's pretty quick. It's a hybrid cam, so it's a lot faster than the one that just has the single cam with the idler wheel at the top. It's got 2 different cams on it, I guess, and the top one has a yoke on it. Looks like a yoke. I don't know if that's what it's called properly. Not really an archery guru, but yeah, it's a nice bow. It's sort of the finish is good. It comes in a couple of different camo colors, but the one that's available for cheap is Veil Alpine camo, and I really like it. It's a very simple sort of a nice looking camo. And the graphics on the limbs are nice as well. I like an understated graphic. I don't really want gigantic white paint all over my nice camo limbs or anything like that. I kind of want it to be yeah, nice and subtle, and they blend in fairly well with the limbs, so there's no glaringly obvious standout marks that you're going to see from a mile away in the bush. And the limbs themselves, they're a little strange. They are the same sort of mass all the way through, but they changed the shape. So at the front, if you look at them from head on, they kind of look skinny where they go into the limb pocket. But if you turn it sideways, you see that it's a real deep, full size, full thickness part of the limb, and then it changes out to like a wider part of the limb as it goes further out to, and I believe that is to make it curve in the right spot. So it sort of puts the curve of the limb nicely into the middle of the limb rather than at the front. So it's strong at the front, strong at the back, and it sort of curves in the middle there. But they seem to work really well. It's not really a very vibey bow. It shoots nice and quietly. There's no big long twang afterwards. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I didn't really get any new accessories for it. I basically just took all of the gear off my Vertix and put it straight onto the Approach and changed the draw length. It came set at 28 inches, 70 pounds, and I set it to 29 inches, which is about right for me. Moved the draw stops as well, they're cable stops. I'm not sure if there's a limb stop option or not, but it's got a really nice solid back wall with those draw stops on it, and it's nice being able to change the draw length without too much fuss. It's got a really nice clear manual that will help you how to change the draw length yourself. You don't need a bow press to do it. You just undo a couple of bolts, move the little rotating module around, and Robert's your father's brother. Happy days. If I ever have anybody else that comes out with me hunting or whatever and they have a bow breakdown, it'll be fairly simple to use the backup bow for anyone else in the hunting party. So that's basically the idea behind getting the second bow, is get something adjustable, something cheap, something reasonably quick, and yeah, it should be fairly useful as a backup bow. And I ended up setting it to about 60 pounds. I don't have a draw scale or anything like that. I just took 3 turns out of the limbs, and it's supposed to be somewhere between 1 and 3 pounds per turn of the limb bolt. So it would have been somewhere between 60 and 63, I suppose, pounds. Shot it the whole weekend with no issues. The peep that I tied in ended up rotating a little bit, but it was fine. I just put it in the bow press and added a twist to the string. Came up minty, very good, happy with that. And yeah, probably fired 250 arrows in the first weekend, and it all settled in nicely. So I've got to now check the timing on it. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. I don't have a draw board to stick the bow in and clickety clickety and winch it all the way back. So I might have to like film myself and frame it so that I can see where the draw stops are hitting on the top and on the bottom. But I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess. The finish on the bow is quite nice. It's not perfect. There's a fair few marks from the casting process on the riser. They don't machine them off, I guess, just to keep costs down. That doesn't really bother me. I don't really care about that. But if you are a Finnish Nazi, you might want to think again. And the same thing. There's a few machining marks on the inside of the cams where it's been dug out by a mill by the looks of it. But aside from that, the paint's nice. There's no areas on it that haven't been painted properly. All in all, pretty nice little bow. It fires my arrows, which are carbon blackouts. So these are 70-pound rated arrows, just the cheap shop arrows, and they weigh. So before I was measuring them, I didn't realise the arrow was actually sitting on the little part of the badooba there. So yes, heavier, a little bit heavier. Don't really need to add any weight to that, I guess. Just a broadhead. So 410, 413, and the other one was 412. Happy days. That makes the speed even more impressive in my opinion. It's 310 feet per second for a 412 grain arrow out of a $600 bow. Pretty bloody good. when it was set to 60-ish pounds. I didn't measure it, remember that. 29-inch draw length, shot it through the Crony and got 278, I think, at 60 pounds, and then cranked those limb bolts all the way in again and fired it again, and I got a couple at 308 and a couple at a little bit less than that, but I'm pretty sure it was because my angle of shooting was wrong. So around that 308 to 310 feet per second at 29 inches with 70 pounds limb bolts maxed out, 70-ish pounds. It might be a little bit more sometimes. They like to give it a little bit more clout than the advertised, just in case the strings, you know, stretch out a little bit too much and you lose a little bit of poundage or whatever. So it's, yeah, with the limb bolts maxed out at 29-inch draw, somewhere around 70 pounds, you're looking at 310 feet per second for that 375 grain arrow. So pretty quick. It feels nice and snappy. It's not the fastest bow in the world, but for a $600 bow, 340 feet per second IBO is pretty good. So happy with that. Good little bow. From here, I guess the next move is to keep shooting arrows and hopefully wait until my my bloody roller guard for my Matthews comes in. So we'll be trying to figure out a way around that. I've actually ordered a part from China and it's arrived, so I've got to modify that to fit it in into the bow, so I can use the bow until the actual proper roller guard comes in. But I don't know if I want to do that or not. I've got the Bear set up and ready to rock, and it's nice and quick and it's good to shoot. It's really comfortable. It's 2 inches longer than the Vertix is. It doesn't really look like it when they're side by side, but when you measure the actual axle to axle, it's a little bit longer, so the angle of the string's a little wider, and you can sort of get in there just a little bit more comfortably. So it's a really nice bow to shoot. So I don't think I'm going to try too hard to get back onto the Vertix until the genuine part gets here. But I will. I'll see how that Chinese part goes. I'll probably fit it up just to see if it actually fits. Modify a few bits and pieces. It looks like I'm going to have to make some actually take some washers and dent them somehow to make a curved washer so that they fit into the actual roller guard assembly properly. But yeah, whatever. Probably not going to give too much attention to that because I've got the other one to use for now. So keep shooting and keep having a great time, and yeah. If you didn't enjoy the video, click the dislike button, take a dump on me in the comments, and slither back into the fetid hole from whence you came, lamenting the chains of lost time and disappointment. But if you walk in the light and you did enjoy this, feel free to finger me right in the like button, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.